Hello, hello. So this is reporting category number 2. So our readiness teaks that are in reporting category number 2 are 3.4a, 5a, 4k, 5b, and 5e. I'm going to talk about those on this slide. So today this presentation goes over reporting category number 2. As we talked about on our STAR test, there's 4 reporting categories or section, and each section covers different skills. So reporting category number 2 is all about addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division word problems. And then that 3.5e is number pairs and tables. So we're going to talk about these ones today. All right, so we're solving addition and subtraction word problems, 3.4a. We got to think about, so what are some key words for addition? I want you to just think for a moment. What are some key words for addition? When I see this word in a problem, that tells me I'm going to be adding. Think about that for a minute. Get them in your head. All right. So, some that you might see is in all, total, bought, and so with those like bought, like I went to buy something. So I went and purchased this. Could be that. Some keywords for subtraction. Think about those for a moment. Get those keywords for subtraction. If you see this word, boom, I know it's subtraction. So some are how much longer, have left, less. And lastly, gave. All right. So to solve a word problem, you have to read the problem 3 times. I know we talk about this all the time, but we read that problem 3 times. When we're over here and we're doing those problems together, and I tell you to read 3 times, it's because sometimes that getting that read into your head again is really going to help you pick up on, ooh, did I miss that word the first time? That first time, read to just get it in your brain. Second time, read to understand. Third time is read to interpret. Figure out exactly what it wants you to do. After you read the problem 3 times, annotate the problem. We've practiced. Do your annotations on your paper. So if write out, this is the total, this is the size of the group, or I'm doing addition, I'm doing subtraction. Write that out on your scratch paper if you don't have the problem on paper in front of you like when we take tests. Next, draw and label your picture/problem. If there is a picture, draw it out. Label that picture, especially when we get to things like perimeter and area. You better label all of those side lengths. You got fractions, label all of the parts. Next, solve the problem. Now we got to solve the problem. So we did all the reading, we got all our notes. Great, time to solve. Next, check your work. Check your work. Let me say it again. Check your work. Because sometimes y'all come over and you're like, Miss Gomez, I have my answer, but it's not there. And so I was like, I always ask you, did you check your work? And then when you go back and check it, you realize, oh, I made like a little small error here. Or, oh, I misread the problem. So always double check your work. Triple check it if you got the time. All right? Okay, so now we get to practice. So, directions. The table below shows the number of textbooks for 5 subjects at a school. What is the total number of math, reading, and language textbooks at this school? When I see this, I need to figure out, am I doing addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division? So this one says, what is the total number of math, reading, and language textbooks at this school? So that tells me total. That's going to probably be something with addition or multiplication. I know we're working with addition, so that's going to be addition for this one. So now I'm like, okay, what does it want me to do? What is the total number of math, reading, and language textbooks at this school? So with your pencil pen, get it, and you're writing out. All right, so I'm looking for what's the total number of math. So I'm going to write M for math equals, let me look. I come over here on the subject. I see math. Go across to the right, number of textbooks, 214. So on my paper, I'm writing M equals 214. If you want to write it all the way out for math equals 214, that's fine. Next, it says we're looking at reading textbooks. I come down, boom, reading is the next one. I look at reading, 187 textbooks. So on my paper under math, I'm going to put R equals 187. And then it says, and language textbooks at this school. So for language, I come down, that's science, and then I have language. And right over here for number of textbooks, it says 208. So L equals 208. So I go back and I remind myself, what operation am I doing? What is the total number of math, reading, and language textbooks at the school? So total tells me that I am adding. So now I'm going to add up all those values. So I want you to take a moment, pause Miss Gomez's video, and then when you come back, I will reveal the answer. So go ahead and pause the video. All right, now that you're back, after you paused it and have returned, now you can see the answer. So you should have added up 214 plus 187 plus 208 to find the total number of textbooks at the school, which is 609. If you did not get that answer, I want you to pause this video again and go back and recheck your work. All right. Once you have done so and you're ready to go ahead and we can continue. Question number 2. Juanita is 26 years old. Her brother is 18 years old. How much older is Juanita than her brother? All right, I got it in my head. Let's do that second read. Juanita is 26 years old. Her brother is 18 years old. How much older is Juanita than her brother? So I want you to go ahead and pause the video. After you pause the video, you're going to do that third read, and then you're going to solve. Don't forget to ask yourself, what is the operation? What is the problem asking you to do? That's what you're asking yourself during this third read. All right, so go ahead and pause the video. All right, and now that you're back. So you should have chosen the operation subtraction. In that second sentence there, how much older? Those are your key words there to tell you that we are doing subtraction. Your number sentence should have been 26 minus 18. And with that, you should have gotten that Juanita is 8 years older than her brother. If you did not, I want you to go back. I want you to check your work. Pause the video before going on while you check your work. All right, next practice. I'm only going to do the first read this time. This is our third practice question. You're going to do the rest. There are 6 dogs, 12 cows, and 13 horses in a pasture on a ranch. The rancher comes out and moves 7 of the horses and 2 of the cows into trailers. He then lets 3 of the dogs go into the house. How many animals are left in the pasture? So before you pause the video and start doing your second and third reads, have your pencil and paper or whiteboard marker and be writing these out with your starting numbers and your ending numbers. Ask yourself, is this 1-step or 2-step, multi-step? What are you doing in this problem? What operation or operations? Okay, so go ahead and pause the video and then you'll come right on back. Okay, and we're back. So you should have had your 6 dogs, 12 cows, and 13 horses. And then you got your 7 horses and 2 cows that leave, as well as the 3 dogs that go in the house. So you could have done this a bunch of different ways. You could have added up all the animals in the pasture, then all the animals that leave, and then subtract those 2 numbers. You could have gone 1 animal at a time. Lots of different options. But so, however you did it, you should have found for how many animals are left in the pasture is 19. All right, so I want you to take a moment and look at that. If you got this, awesome. You're going to continue. If you are a little bit confused, do it. I want you to check your work this way. First step, add up all the animals that are in the pasture. So those 6, 12, and 13. Then add up the amount of animals that leave, 7, 2, and 3. And then the last step, subtract those 2 numbers. All right, so we're going to keep going. Pause the video, though, if you did not get this correct, and I want you to practice more. So now we are moving into 3.5a. So this one is about representing addition and subtraction word problems. So sometimes for some word problems, you don't even gotta solve it. Not at all. You just gotta be like, boom, bam, this is what I'm doing. So there's times when the answer choices might be equations, they might be number lines. They can come in a bunch of different ways. Maybe it's a picture. So then you match those up to solve the question, So you have these different ways that it can appear. We're still using our same steps to solve a word problem, though. Reading that problem 3 times, annotating the problem, drawing and labeling the picture problem, especially with these, since we're representing, sometimes it might be a picture, making sure to draw and label that. Then solving the problem and check your work. And when I say solve the problem for this, I don't mean actually like, okay, for example, with the little square, figure out what number goes there unless it asks for that. I mean, figure out what answer choice matches up with what the question is asking. So now we get to practice. So this one says, which of the following means 3 less than a number equals 12? All right, I got this in my head. Now the second read, I'm going to read it to make sure I understand. Which of the following means 3 less than a number equals 12? Okay, so now during this third read, I'm like, what am I doing? What operation? Which of the following means 3 less than a number equals 12? So I see less than, so that gives me the key word that gives me that clue that I'm going to do subtraction. So 3 less than a number equals 12. So now I know that my equation has to equal 12. So just by that, since it has to equal 12, I already know I can get rid of C and D. C equals the unknown, and so does D. And the problem tells us it equals 12. So now I'm left with A and B. I have the unknown plus 3 or the unknown minus 3 to equal 12. So that says 3 less than a number equals 12. Less than tells me that I am subtracting, which means that B is the correct answer choice here to show that 3 less than a number, the magic number, equals 12. Okay, let's keep on going. So I'm going to do the first 2 reads, and then you're going to do the third read and solve on your own. In April, Nancy bought 45 apples from Walmart. In May, she bought 14 more apples from Walmart. Which equation could be used to find the total number of apples Nancy bought at Walmart in April and May? So now that second read. The second read, we're really trying to read what's going on in this problem. In April, Nancy bought 45 apples from Walmart. In May, she bought 14 more apples from Walmart. Which equation could be used to find the total number of apples Nancy bought at Walmart in April and May? So now I want you to take a moment, I want you to pause this video and go ahead and figure out, okay, A, B, C, or D, which one is going to represent what the problem is saying, as well as doing that third read. Let's go ahead and pause and then come on back. All right. Now that you are back, you should have found that we need to choose D. That key word that tells us that it's D is because right there at the beginning of that sentence, in May, she bought 14 more apples from Walmart. So we know we start with 45 because that's what the problem tells us. And then she buys 14 more, and it gives us that unknown because we don't know the total she has. Alrighty. Nicole was solving the following problem using a number line. Kayla has 740 bobby pins. She found 35 more bobby pins. Then at the dance competition, she lost 15 bobby pins. How many bobby pins does Kayla have now? Which number line did Nicole use to solve her problem? Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and I want you to pause this video. And you need to look at the number lines here and figure out which one represents this problem. So you need to do the second read to understand, then the third read to interpret, and then solve. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video here. All right, and we're back. So after doing that, you should know that this is going to have lots of things going on. We have at least a 2-step problem, and we also have more than one operation going on. We got some addition and subtraction. So you should have found that the correct answer is D, the number line for D. A couple things that you can do to help yourself out. So if you did not get D, first thing you should do is go back to the problem, check your work. When we're looking at this, it says Kayla has 740 bobby pins. That means our starting point has to be 740. So when I look at A, B, C, and D, even if I don't look at the arrows yet, I can already get rid of B and C because they're over there on 735. So then I'm left with A and D. And I know it says she found 35 more bobby pins. So that means she's going to add to that, which means I'm between A and D. So it has to be D because that's adding from 740, whereas A up there was actually subtracting. So we can even just do process of elimination with this one. All right, moving into representing and solving multiplication and division word problems. So this is 3.5b. So we got our same steps here for when we're solving word problems. So when it comes to multiplication and division, be ready to do the work. But sometimes for some word problems, you don't even need to solve. So just how we have addition, subtraction problems that you might not have to solve, we have those for multiplication and division. So questions may be in the forms of fact families, arrays, or equations. So you got all these different things that it could be. Okay? Got a little equation down there, my little face in the way. So, practice time. So look at the number sentence below. 7 times 8 equals 56. Which of the following number sentences is in the same fact family? I'll do a second read. Look at the number sentence below. 7 times 8 equals 56. Which of the following number sentences is in the same fact family? All right, so last read. Look at the number sentence below. 7 times 8 equals 56. I got my number sentence. I'm looking for something that relates to that. Which of the following number sentences is in the same fact family? So what you should do, before you even look at those answer choices, you all know how to write fact families. Write them down. Don't even bother to look at those. So I'm going to go ahead, you're going to write down 7 times 8 equals 56. Use that commutative property, swap it. Then 8 times 7 equals 56. What are the two division sentences that relate to this family? So with division, we're starting with that biggest number for 3rd grade math. So 56 divided by 7 equals 8. And then swap it again, 56 divided by 8 equals 7. So now I come and look at my answer choices. Right off the bat. Get rid of C, right? That's subtraction. That don't go in fact families, only multiplication, division. Boom, already got rid of an answer choice. Then I look at A, B, and D. When you're looking at A and D, it equals 56. And we know with division, we start with that largest number. And the only number sentence that matches up with our fact family is B. 56 divided by 8 equals 7. It's super important to remember, like specifically like with A and D. They're trying to trick us with these kinds of questions because we see the same numbers, but they're using the wrong symbol. They're saying division, whereas for those to be true, they would have had to have been multiplication. All right, let's keep going. So, Ryan got a bag of square blocks for Christmas. He wanted to arrange his blocks in equal rows and columns. What multiplication equation does his array represent? So, you're going to go ahead and do the second and third read. Do not forget our step at the end to check your work, because when you start looking at the answer choices, you're going to see very similar answers. All right, so do not forget to check your work. So go ahead and pause this video, and I want you to do your second read, third read, and solve. Go ahead and pause the video. And we're back. So with this problem, you should count your side lengths, right? If I go across, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up and down in the column is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So then I'm going to come over and I am going to find that D is the only one that works to make a 6 times 6 equals 36. So like I said before you paused the video when you were solving, this is why we double check our work, because sometimes maybe if we're rushing, we might have miscounted and done one of the side lengths is 5. And you're like, oh, that's there. It must be right. Nah. Star be doing this to us, trying to make us be wrong. So this is why we double check our work. This is why we read the problem, because we want to make sure that we eliminate any tricky answer choices. Whenever you see answer choices like this that are super close to each other or look super similar, that's when you definitely know, okay, I need to make sure to triple check my work because I could be getting tripped up here. All right. Ooh. There we go. So now on to 3.4K. So, this is the solving of the multiplication and division problems. Y'all have been killing it with this, and we just need to make sure we keep this up. So, same thing as when representing, you might see them in fact families. You might see those arrays and equations, all the different options. But you have to now solve these problems. You might not get as many models. All right. Honeywine collects rocks in Miss Gomez's backyard. She finds 8 rocks on Tuesday. Friday, she finds twice as many rocks as Tuesday. Saturday, she finds 5 more rocks. How many rocks does she collect in all? All right, so now I'm doing that second step. I'm starting to think about what is the problem asking me. I want to understand it better. Honeywine collects rocks in Miss Gomez's backyard. She finds 8 rocks on Tuesday. Friday, she finds twice as many rocks as Tuesday. Saturday, she finds 5 more rocks. How many rocks does she collect in all? So now during this third read, I need to ask myself, is this a one-step? Is this a two-step or multi-step? Am I doing multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, or a combo? So that's what I'm asking myself. Honeywine collects rocks in Miss Gomez's backyards. She finds 8 rocks on Tuesday. All right, we got 8 on Tuesday. Boom, write that out. Friday, she finds twice as many rocks as Tuesday. Saturday, she finds 5 more rocks. How many rocks does she collect in all? All right, so from reading this problem, I know that this is a multi-step. So I know she's got 8 rocks on Tuesday. Now I need to do Friday. So I know that twice as many means times 2. So I need to write out 8 times 2. If you don't know your multiplication fact off the top of your head for 8 times 2, 2 times 8, skip count by 2s all the way up. And once you do that, now I know that Friday is equal to 16 rocks. So I have Tuesday is 8, Friday is 16, and then last is Saturday, she finds 5 more rocks. So Saturday, 5. So now we need to take up all of those values and add them up to find how many rocks she collected in all. So I'm going to have 8 plus 16 plus 5. Let's go ahead and take a moment. I want you to pause the video and solve. All right, now that you're coming back, you should have found that Honeywine collected 29 rocks in Miss Gomez's backyard. All right, second practice question. Garden Club grows 20 tulips. They grow 3 times as many daisies. How many daisies did they grow? I'm going to do the second read, and this time I want you to be thinking about, okay, what operation am I going to be doing? Garden Club grows 20 tulips. They grow 3 times as many daisies. How many daisies did they grow? So we should be thinking about what tells us what operation we're going to do. There's a word in here that definitely gives it away. I want you to go ahead and pause the video, and you're going to do your third read on your own and then solve. Let's go ahead and pause the video. Alrighty, and now that you are coming back, so to check your work, you should have done 20 times 3, and you should have gotten a product of 60. So how many daisies did they grow? 60 daisies. All right, one more practice question here. The art club uses 99 pieces of paper one day. If each scholar uses 11 pieces of paper, how many scholars were in art club? So now, all on you. You're going to do that second and third read. What operation are you doing? Is it a one-step or a multi-step? All right, so go ahead and pause Miss Gomez's video before you start solving. Okay, now that you are back, you should have found that you should have done 99, the total, divided by 11, the size of the group, to find the number of scholars. And when we do 99 divided by 11, we find out that there were 9 scholars in art club. So, reminder, maybe you don't like division like Ms. Gomez. Flip it around. Use that fact family. 11 times blank equals 99. Blank times 11 equals 99. So, you got options to help you get there, okay? Alright, so now we are moving on to number pairs and tables. Not easy. Can be a struggle bus. So, 3.5e. Couple of little hints that Ms. Gomez is going to start teaching you. So, when you go across tables, left to right, you're going to multiply or divide. So side to side, we're multiplying, dividing. Check every single row to make sure the same number is multiplied or divided. This is super important because sometimes you're going to get answer choices where the first 2 rows are exactly the same. But then it's those next 2 rows where you start seeing what was wrong. So that's why it's super important to check every single row, because a lot of times we have similar tables that are shown as answer choices. So it's making sure that you check all the rows. So when I look at this particular one on the left, we have number of bikes to number of tires. 1 bike has 4 tires. 2 bikes has 8 tires. So in this case, the rule is multiply by 4. So 1 times 4 equals 4. 2 bikes, 2 times 4 tires equals 8 tires in all. and so on and so forth. This other one, different kinds of bikes, and number of tires is 6. Then it says, how many bikes is that? So number of tires, 6 divided by 3 equals 2. So 6 divided by 3 equals 2. 9 tires divided by 3 equals 3 bikes. And so on and so forth. So when we go up and down tables, you add or subtract. Again, checking every single column to see what the pattern is. So on the left, the number of bikes, it's going up by 1. 1 bike, 2 bike, 3 bikes. Number of tires, 4, 8, 12. Increasing by 4. But the rule still works from left to right. 1 times 4 equals 4. 2 times 4 equals 4. 3 times 4 equals 12. So now we get to practice. So our first practice question. Mr. Watkins takes 4 trips every year. Which table shows the total number of trips Mr. Watkins takes in 5, 7, and 12 years? So they're showing us the different years, 5, 7, and 12. So we need to know that the rule is multiply by 4. I'm just going to tell you how you got there. So it says he takes 4 trips every year. So 1 year times something equals 4 trips in a year. So then I use my math knowledge, and I know that 1 times 4 equals 4. So now I start using that. So I can ask myself, okay, what's 5 times 4? If you don't know it off the top of your head, skip count. 5, 10, 15, 20. Great. So 5 years, that means he's taken 20 trips. So now let me start looking at the answer choices. All right, I see A, boom, 5 years, 20 trips. Great. Done, right? Yeah, I hope you said no. No, because we need to look at the other answer choices. B says 5 to 9. We're multiplying, not adding. So we can get rid of B. I'm looking at C, 5, 4. Nope, that doesn't match up. But then I got D over here, 5 and 20. All right, so both of them say 5 and 20. So now I need to figure out what's next. So we got 7 years. 7 times 4. If we don't know off the top of your head, skip count by 4s or skip count by 7s. Draw a picture. For this one, I'll let you know. So 7 times 4, I know that that is 28. So I see that A says 24 and D says 28. So I'm going to double check with my 12. 12 times 4, I know that 12 times 4 is 48, which tells me that D is the correct answer choice. Alrighty, so sometimes you have, like what we just had here, and you have to figure out which table represents the problem. You have to figure out the rule. Other times, you have options of the rule, and you have to match up the rule with the table there, not fill it in yourself like we were kind of just doing. So in this question, it says, which statement describes the relationship between the number of tablespoons and the number of fluid ounces? So now we have to start looking at these. When I'm over at the number of tablespoons, I see 32, down to 24, to 14, to 10. And then for number of fluid ounces, they're smaller, and I have 16, 12, 7, 5. So remember, we're going from left to right. So if I'm going from a larger number to a smaller number, when we go from large to small, there's 2 operations that we can use. Think about what those 2 operations are. Okay, so one of those operations could be division, and one operation could be subtraction. So when I look at our answer choices, that means that we can get rid of B and C. It doesn't matter what it says for how much to multiply or how much to add, because the number of tablespoons times anything or plus anything is going to be a bigger number, not a smaller number like we have. So now we look at A and D. So A says the number of tablespoons minus 8 equals the number of fluid ounces. D says the number of tablespoons divided by 2 equals the number of fluid ounces. So here is my suggestion. Go to the numbers you like. So maybe you look at that first set and you're like, ooh, 32 and 16, those are kind of big. Go to the bottom, 10 and 5. So when I go from 10 to 5, let's try and subtract 8. If you have 10 and you take away 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That would only leave us with 2. Already we know that rule doesn't work. So let's try the other rule, divided by 2. When I do 10 divided by 2, well, I get 5. So if I have 10 and I'm dividing them into 2 groups, and I draw out my picture, or I can use my hands, 10, and I put them into 2 groups, and I see that I have 5 each. So that one works. So let's look at 14. Gotta check another row. 14 divided by 2, does that equal 7? Take a moment and check each of those rows. When you do 24 divided by 2, does that equal 12? 32 divided by 2, does that equal 16? So take a moment, pause the video, and I want you to double check those. Alright, now that you have finished that, and you have unpaused me, yes, it does work for each row, and we know that the rule here is the number of tablespoons divided by 2 equals the number of fluid ounces. Alrighty. So Rita is formatting documents with her computer. Below are the copies of the documents that she printed before and after reformatting them. What statement describes the effects of the reformatting on the page length of the documents? Before, 1 page, to after, 3. So I want you to go ahead and pause the video. Do the second read on your own as well as the third read, and then go ahead and solve. Alrighty, and now that you are back, so you should have found that the answer choice is A. The documents are 3 times as long as the original documents. So maybe some of you said B. The documents are 2 pages longer than the original documents. This is true. However, you need to think about when we have more than 1 page. So going from left to right, you need to think about, okay, if I put this into a table, if I had started with more than 1 page, so now 1 becomes 3. If I had 2 pages to start with, what would that become? So make sure you're thinking about a little bit broader too with these, all right? And that is our last practice question for today. Awesome, awesome job, y'all. Always go back and rewatch the parts you don't know or didn't understand. And of course, you can talk to Ms. Gomez so you can get extra help. Have a great day.